Hey, this is John. Thanks so much for joining me for this Workbench update for February 17th, 2020. One of the kits that I'm working on right now is this high-grade Gouf custom from Bandai. This is a really fun kit. My son gave it to me for Christmas, so I'm excited about building it. It doesn't really have very many seam lines. There's a couple on the tops of the shoulders up here on these pauldrons, which are easy to take care of, and a couple on the back of the legs. Other than that, everything is either hidden or is presented as a panel line, so no problems in that regard. For the colors, I'm going with a more desaturated Canon look. I used a light blue, but it's got a little bit of a gray to it. It's actually got just the hint of maybe a greenish cast, but I really like the way that it looks. Same way with the darker parts of the kit. I went with something that's got a little more gray to it. Not quite as dark as the kit blue, so that it's just a little closer to the light blue. You can see the two in contrast here on the shield, which I thought turned out pretty good. The fact that these are two separate parts made it real easy to paint and get a good sharp line there. And then I'm just doing all the inside of the armor parts as a dark German gray. So I'm just got the paint on this, and I'm going to be, of course, I'm going to heavily weather this guy. I really want to beat this guy up from weathering. And so I'm really looking forward to that. This will be out probably in about a month on video. It's just going to be a single video that goes through the whole thing. Kind of a narration style video, but this is a great kit, and if you've been thinking about getting it, be sure and check out that video. Another Gunpla project I have going is this MS-14S Gelgoog. It's going to be in the colors of Char Aznable, the pink and red colors, like that, and I'm really liking the look of this suit. You gotta love those bell bottoms. I mean, that's just awesome stuff. But this one is going to be a more extended video series. Part 1 will be out in a few weeks, and it covers kind of the build strategy, taking it apart, planning for it, and then the initial painting and some shading and things on the inner frame. Here's a couple of the inner frame parts that I was working on earlier. And these things are loaded with detail. Now, the crazy thing is, none of this is going to be seen when the model's built. This will go here, this will go over that, there's going to be extra armor over that. When you look up into it, you're just going to basically see a dark void and some framework. But it's so much fun painting and weathering and detailing these parts that I just decided, you know what, I'll do it whether it's going to be seen or not, just because it's cool. So the first part of the video covers painting this, and goes into priming and painting, and then adding some shading, goes into the reasons for that. And then the second video will cover detailing the framing and just look at all of the things that you can detail there. And it may get into some of the assembly and painting the armor. Time will tell. I'm not sticking to a rigid schedule on this build, but even though this is an older master grade kit, it is absolutely packed with detail. So if you've been looking at this Gelgoog, this master grade Gelgoog, and you're thinking, you know, should I get this one? Get this one. It's just wonderful. I have a Warhammer build going, this Adeptus Mechanicus Skorpius Disintegrator. It's a long name it's kind of a silly looking thing. I mean, it's like this hovercraft with a big boxy front end and some rocket launchers and a big gun, but I'm just looking at these big slab sides. This is why I bought it. I see these sides and I'm going, oh, that's going to be great for weathering. So it's a bit silly looking. You can also build it as this landing craft kind of thing. Apparently all of these dudes see something and they're pointing at it. But This is great. It would be great fun to build and weather either one of these, but I just liked the big gun there, so I'm going with that one, and I'm really looking forward to weathering it. I have the hull built. I only built it up to this point because I'll be able to get the initial painting and weathering done without all of the other parts hanging off of it. It'll just make it a little easier, and then I'll be able to go in later and add the railing around it and the turret. The turret, it's got some kind of mutant cyborg dude in it, and you have to kind of put it together in pieces. You have this guy at the core, and then there's a base that goes under him, and then some various pieces that go on the side or something like that, you know. So I'm gonna have to build that a piece at a time. So I left all that separate, but this chunk of it will be easy to paint. I'm not sure what these are. I'm picturing it going down the road, you know, like one of the cars that they have the overhead electric lines, and it rides along like that. I don't know what those are for, but when it's Adeptus Mechanicus, you never know. But this one is a fun kit to build, and I'm really looking forward to the weathering. So stay tuned for this one too. This will be out probably into March, maybe April. I'll have the video ready for this one. I have a Maschinen Krieger build going. It's this Jerry from Nitto, however you say it. It's this Stompy Walker from the Maschinen Krieger property. It's a pretty cool little kit, and it's an older one, a lot of multimedia with it, but it's not difficult so far to put together, and I'm really enjoying this. This one is going to be another one that it's just going to really invite a lot of weathering. I mean, if you've ever looked at Maschinen Krieger models, you know that the aesthetic of the universe is for a fairly heavily weathered look. So I'll definitely be doing that on this guy. The first part of the Patreon exclusive build series covered getting the hull together. I don't know whether you'd call it the fuselage or the hull or what, the body. But it's not difficult. There's a reasonably detailed cockpit in there. Once it's closed up, even if you leave this hatch open, you really can't see much down in there. But it's fairly fun to build, and so I covered that in detail in the video, as well as the assembly, which it's not hard, but it takes a little bit of planning to get it all together just right. And I'll be starting on the second part of this Patreon exclusive build series in just another week or so to cover getting everything ready to final assembly, getting it ready to be primed. I'm going to try and cover priming and base painting in the next one, but that's available to enthusiast and fanatic level supporters over on Patreon. So if you're interested in this or any of the other exclusive builds that I have for patrons, just follow the link below to Patreon and you can take advantage of that. And I'd be most grateful for it. All right, that's going to wrap up this quick Workbench update. Thanks for checking in and taking a look at what I'm doing. Those are just a few of the projects. I've got a few others, but they're, even though I'm working on them now, they're going to be much further out on the horizon in terms of when they'll appear on YouTube or on the blog or anywhere else. So that's just kind of a few of them that are coming up. Thank you so much for subscribing to this channel, and if you've not already done so, please click the subscribe link down below and the little bell icon so you'll know when I have something new out. I try to get something out new at least once a week, so please look for that. There's also links to all the various social media, to my blog. All of that's down below, so take a look at that. There's also a link, as I've mentioned, to Patreon, where there's different levels of things and different rewards for those, so please check that out, and I'll be most grateful if you would consider supporting me there on Patreon. And if you're already a Patreon supporter, thank you so much. It means the world to me and my family. It allows me to do what I do and produce these videos and make these models and buy the supplies. So I'm really grateful for your support and your encouragement, and I just want to extend a special thanks to all of you. Okay, with all of that being said, happy day to you, friends. Bye-bye.